Welcome to Ridercam TV. We're all on lockdown, so none of us are getting much chance to ride our bikes unless you're involved in something like this. I volunteer for Cornwall Bloodbikes. I've got a 10-day shift, and I've just been called out on another job. I've done 3 this morning, and I've got to ride back towards Truro, but I'm on an a BMW RT 1200 RTP, which is a police spec bike. It's just got orange squares on it. This is an 18 plate. It's got 25,500 miles on it. And what I thought I'd do is I'd just have a quick ride back towards Truro and have a chat about what the charity does in Cornwall, but it's pretty much the same for every charity all around the UK, and how we're involved in this current lockdown period, which, as we know, is a pretty stressful thing for a lot of people. So let's just get it going. So I'm just coming out of the other side of Newquay now. Now, Newquay in Cornwall, as you may or may not know, is a massive holiday destination, and there's been concern about people coming down for the Easter holiday. Well, happy to say that it doesn't appear there are some definite people who've come down, but there happens, you know, they're keeping very quiet because it's not very socially acceptable, I believe, at the moment. So anyway, enough about that. What I'm talking about is the nice aspect for us as motorcyclists is the roads. Now, the roads are obviously really clear, and I'm getting to ride on roads that I wouldn't normally get a chance to ride on. Which is pretty cool. And in the course of talking to you, I've just been given another job, so I'm going to have to change direction now and go round back the way I came. U-turns 101, eh? Okay, so as I was saying, the roads are really clear. But one thing I have noticed is there's lots of people who are taking it upon themselves to start speeding now, which is like really weird, you know, at a time when hospitals are jam-packed. And in Cornwall we've got pretty limited hospital facilities. You've got people driving like loons. And sorry to say, you know, we've got motorcyclists doing it, and they're very, very obvious. So please slow down, fellas. But anyway, what I'm going to do is just get out the other side of Newquay, and I'm going to put you on a road that takes us from Newquay to a place called Chiverton Cross, and I'm just going to ride that because it's a really nice road, and with no traffic on it, it'll be exceptional. So there we are. That's the plan. So let's talk about Cornwall Bloodbikes. Well, Cornwall Bloodbikes formed, it's our 5th birthday a few days ago. Formed in 2015 as a result of coming out of Cornwall Freewheelers, and a new committee was formed, and off we went, and we've gone from strength to strength. And this bike I'm riding now is an 18 plate. It was given to us by an organisation. We've got their name on it. Mark Mason is the name on the bike. It's one of the newer 12 plate bike, 18 plate bikes. Really nice bike. So like I said, there's about 60 of us. I don't think everybody rides. There are lots of volunteers who do just backroom stuff. Like most of the blood bike organisations, we've got no infrastructure. We have no containers, no offices or anything like that for, you know, office work. There are no paid people in the organisation, and we don't even have much infrastructure apart from a couple of containers so we can store bikes if they're not being used. We've got 12 of these bikes, so obviously servicing takes up a massive amount of our funds. So basically we're a fundraising organisation that provides a service to the NHS. If we haven't got money, we can't provide the service. But in these current times, which are obviously very, very different to what we're normally used to. If I just give you some history, in 2012, when Cornwall Freewheelers first started, the first month they were operational, they did 20 jobs, 20. And obviously, you know, from there on, things have progressed. Now, in a standard month, you know, pre-coronavirus, we could expect to do about 230 jobs a month, on average, I would imagine. And that's transporting samples, drugs, breast milk for premature babies, blood, basically anything can get on a bike. We've even had a guy to carry a walking frame on a bike for somebody who's quite poorly. So basically we'll carry anything, tools for hospitals, surgeries, things like that. And we do it all free of charge to the NHS. So we only work in Cornwall from 5 in the evening till 7 in the morning. And that's 365 days of the year. And on a Friday, we basically cover the whole weekend, 24 hours a day, because the courier service, which is run by the NHS, the normal daily courier service, works from 7 in the morning till 5, but doesn't work at weekends necessarily. So we sort of fill in the gap. And the reason we do it is, for example, if you had a blood sample taken and the courier had already left, pick up your blood sample from a hospital to take it back to a hospital, the courier's already gone, the hospital's got a stark choice, and they either leave that sample till the following day when the courier comes back, which in many cases is not acceptable for, you know, obvious reasons. There's somebody who might be really poorly, or they put it in a taxi. Now if they put it in a taxi, obviously that costs money, and various prices are charged, you know. It's a company down here has a contract for that, and the NHS has a budget for taxis. So we sort of fill in and save them money. We probably estimate in Cornwall we save the NHS, I don't know, in excess of 150,000–200,000 pounds a year in taxi fees, and that's quite a substantial amount of money in their budget. That means it could be put back into the system. Now let's talk about what we're doing now. So in this coronavirus pandemic we've got going on, which everyone is really panicking about, and obviously for obvious reasons a lot of people are dying, we are now transporting test samples between various big hospitals. There's no point going into it in massive detail, but it was really, really safe. It's all very sealed, and if there's the slightest instance where you're not sure, we just don't take it. They'll repackage it for us. So we're currently busy with that, and because of the situation, we're now offering a service during the day, and it's surprising just how much we are being used. So now on the Glenavon Road, so today is the day before Easter, and so we're on the 11th of the month. Now in this normal time we'd have expected to have probably done about, I don't know, 90 jobs, something like that. The job I'm going on to today is job number 230 of this month. So we've literally doubled our jobs in a month, and normally we would expect to do, each bike would probably cover about 2,000 miles in a month, something like that. We're clearly exceeding all that now, because we now have on shift every night in Cornwall 9 guys, and 9 guys are out most nights. Some nights is less busy, but other nights are really busy. For example, a couple of nights ago I think they did 35 jobs in one night, which is pretty much full on all the time. So we're a busy bunch of boys and girls. We do have a couple of lady riders, which is exceptional. Not many people like to go out 2 o'clock in the morning and be driving around Cornwall in the winter, But I've got to admit that this weather we have at the moment is absolutely fantastic, and it's such a tease because, you know, a lot of people don't ride all year, and once the weather starts brightening up, you know, they're off. They want to get their bikes out, and look at this. This is just gorgeous, gorgeous weather, and they can't do it. And I really appreciate, as somebody who's carrying all this stuff around for people, the fact that you're not doing it, you know, because we can't afford to have our hospitals bunged up with people who have just gone out for a little ride just for the fun of it. So it's only essential jobs, essential trips that are being done, hopefully, which means it's more time for us to play. Well, not play, we've got jobs to do, but normally on a road like this, particularly at this time of the year, we'd be having to overtake traffic all over the place. It'd be up and stop, start, stop, start. There'd be caravans on the road. But in this road in front of me, it'll just come around the corner here now. This is called the Big Dipper. Look at that, there's one car in front of me. How lucky are we to be able to ride in this kind of weather, on these kind of roads, with nobody on them. It would be so tempting to open up the throttle, particularly if you're on your own bike. On these bikes, they're all tracked, so it's very. If you are reported for speeding, you know, we're still subject to the speed laws like everybody else. So they've got a record of you breaking that speed limit anyway. So don't do it. You don't need to. I like the aspect of having to ride along these roads but maintaining a steady speed, 60 mile an hour, and practicing my corners, positioning for bends and all that kind of stuff. But trying to maintain a constant speed, that's even more fun on roads that we wouldn't be able to do it normally. It's just so smooth, I love it. Unfortunately, now I've caught this guy up, I won't be able to overtake him for a while. So one of the questions that people ask about riding for Bloodbikes is, there's lots of different groups that do. I think there's 29 groups all around the country. They're all individual charities. We all come under, apart from a couple of groups, under the National Association of Bloodbikes. And they ask you why you do it. Well, everyone has a different reason for why they do it, and that's fine. It is a very worthwhile job. I'm sure. I've been doing it now for, I think, 5-7 years, something like that. You do it whenever you can, you know. I'm lucky that I don't have to work all the time. I'm very lucky with that, and so I can afford to do 10 days at once, which is the current shift pattern I'm on at the moment. Some people can only do 2 days, and that's fine. Absolutely fine. This would be embarrassing if I set the 30 mile an hour sign off when I'm coming through here now, isn't it? So this is Goonhaven. But we've got a massive mix of people. We've got policemen who are in it, we've got air traffic controllers, we've got accountants, we've got electricians, we've got everybody can do this kind of job. It's just as long as you can fit it in. And I get asked if we make a difference. Well, clearly we do make a difference, because if you're really sick and you need a sample testing for whatever it might be outside of this pandemic we're in, and the hospital can't afford to send a taxi, because it's all about the money, isn't it? It's all about budgets. So we can fulfill that job for them if you want, and get in there a little bit early, and so they will get their results quicker. And so in that respect, it's life-changing. It's probably life-saving, but it's definitely life-changing. And once they get a result back, they can put them on a program, whatever it might be. But the thing that I really like is when we carry breast milk for the premature babies. I mean, it's all really serious stuff, but quite often when you get to the neonatal unit, I think that's what they call it, you know, they're waiting there for you for the milk to be taken off you. And our nearest breast milk bank is up in Bristol, which for any of you know where we are, that's a 3-hour ride each way. So what we have to do is we have to get somebody to bring it down halfway to us, and we collect it from them and bring them down. But quite often the babies that are born premature, they're quite poorly, and their mothers obviously, well, I'm saying obviously, what would I know about midwifery, but their mothers are sometimes haven't got enough milk, or because it's just kicked in, they're quite often just gone in, you know, it's an emergency birth if you want, and so the milk hasn't kicked in yet, and if they haven't got enough stored milk for the baby, then they need it. So quite often the box is taken out of your hand, you're sort of left there with your hand out going, who signs for this now? So it is clearly a vitally important job. But the point I'm trying to make is, for all the points on TV and quite negative press about people travelling down, where we live in Cornwall, there are a few people who have travelled down, that's undeniable, but for the most part I would say 99% of people are only making essential trips, and that's great. I don't want to sound sanctimonious or anything like that, because it's just fantastic. We get to ride on these roads, that's why it's even better. I've got a big cheesy smile on my face. I've actually been out now, what time is it? I've been out 3 hours now riding, and the smile still hasn't left my face. But like I say, you can practice all the stuff you don't normally do. Good observations, you know, your positioning on the bends, long observations in front of you. It's just great. It's really, really good. But I would say occasionally you do forget to look in your rear view mirror, because you know there's nothing behind you, or very rarely anything behind you. But I've gone off subject again, haven't I? So blood bikes. If you want to support Bloodbikes, any blood bike association, they've all got a website, but we've got a website for Cornwall Bloodbikes, and there's a donate button on there. I might sound like I'm asking for money. Well, I am, because we need it. It probably costs about £700–800 quid to keep one of these bikes, which is in dollars is about $900 a month. We've got 12 of them, plus all the kit we have to buy. We get no support from the NHS at all. So they don't pay for fuel, they don't pay for high-vis jackets, they don't pay for repairs, maintenance, anything like that, but they have some very strict criteria which we have to fall into. We have to be trained on what to do in case of a leakage of whatever you might be carrying and all that kind of stuff. So it all costs money and time. Well, it's very nice riding like this in the sunshine, and it's I think it's about 21 degrees at the moment. It's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, don't forget that if you sign up for something like this, you will be expected to go out during the winter, you know, when it's freezing cold, miserable, wet, windy, and if you live in Cornwall, it's doing one of those every day. But it's a vitally important job. And you get to ride really cool bikes, although some people won't agree with me. So if you can see the speedo here, it might flick up above the speed limit, and actually the digital speedo is not as good as the actual proper speedo. It's a little bit out. These bikes are calibrated, the speedos are calibrated, just there as a guide. So please don't complain saying I'm breaking the speed limit. I'm actually using the needle one on the left hand side of the dashboard, which is much more accurate. So there we go. If you like this video, very brief, give us a big thumbs up. There's a thumbs up. And subscribe, Toby will do that. Donate to your nearest blood bike group, that's always important. And remember, stay safe, stay well, and don't drive unless you have to. Cheers now.